All right, what is up? We are live. Got the water going. Mildly humid day where I'm at. Of course, the big news here today being they announced the next NASCAR Hall of Fame finalists. And going down the list, it's going to be Ralph Moody, Ricky Rudd, and Carl Edwards. Those are your three going into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Of course, various different reasons as to why they are getting in there. Holman Moody, he would be, of course, the Moody part of the Holman Moody. And if you don't know the backstory to that, there was a time when basically NASCAR tried to make it like the Olympics, where they didn't want, or racing, I guess, in general, or was trying to be like the Olympics, where they didn't want factory support. So when Ford got rid of all their stuff, Ralph Moody took out a loan against an airplane, or I think it was an airplane, maybe a boat. Maybe we should just pull up some research here. How about that? We don't have to guess at it. Let's see here. Yeah, so he pulled up. He took a loan. This is from Wikipedia. He took a loan against an airplane that he owned, along with John Holman, and paid $12,000 to buy the shop that equipment had been Ford's Charlotte-based racing operation. Holman began a race car owner operation, but became more famous for their race car building operation. Holman Moody chassis featured improvements such as tube shocks, square tubing, and rear ends with floater housings. They built around 50 race cars a year until Moody sold his portion of the company in 1971. They had won 92 NASCAR Grand National races. And if you've ever seen the Ford versus Ferrari movie, Holman Moody is where they got the great big Ford engine from for that particular GT40, I think is what it's called. Ricky Rudd, going into the Hall of Fame, he won races as a owner driver, and I want to say he won something like 15 or 16 years in a row. He won at least one race with 5 or 6 different team owners, including like I said, being a team owner himself. And not only that, but he won in a Ford. He won in a Chevy. He won in a Buick. You know, whatever he climbed in, he was going to get a win in. So very, very impressive career. He was an Iron Man too. He raced for a long, long time. 1977 Winston Cup Rookie of the Year. He was named in 1998 as one of NASCAR's 50 greatest drivers. And he is also one of the 75 greatest drivers that was announced this year. And now in 2025, he will be going into the Hall of Fame. IROC winner, 1997 Brickyard winner. So all kinds of achievements for Southern Norfolk, Virginia's very own, the Rooster, Rick Rudd. And then, of course, Carl Edwards, Columbia, Missouri's own Carl Edwards, 44 years of age. That crept up on everybody, I feel like. But of course, under the old point system, he would be a champion. That battle he had with Tony Stewart was only a battle because of the playoffs. So that whatever, from Carl Edwards fans' perspective, cost him a championship. I consider him a champion myself personally, but it is what it is. But anyway, 2005 NASCAR Busch Series Rookie of the Year, Craftsman Truck Series Rookie of the Year, Busch Series Most Popular Driver in 2007, one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers, and of course 2025 Hall of Fame. He is the NASCAR Busch Series champion as well. 2011 Sprint All-Star Race winner. I was at that race, and you've seen footage of it if you go into the other videos that I make from time to time. And he's won the Coke 600 and a Southern 500, both of them in 2015. So he's got 2 crown jewels to his name. So very, very deserving people to be in the Hall of Fame without question. But if you had a 4th vote, if you could put one more person in there, and that is the poll question, who would have been your 4th into the Hall of Fame? Harry Gant, Harry Hyde / Harry Hogg, the guy from Days of Thunder, the crew chief from Days of Thunder, was based off Harry Hyde, so that's why I put that in there. Smokey Yunick, who of course is the reason for the rule book, or Tim Richmond, of course, who obviously contracted the HIV virus and then full-blown AIDS and had to leave the planet a little bit early. But he did. He got a lot of living in from in between here and there. So we'll go to the comments and see what you guys want to talk about and see who you would put in there. Me personally, who I would put in there, and this is probably going to sway the poll, it would probably be a coin flip between Smokey Yunick and Harry Hyde, because without Harry Hyde, there is no Hendrick Motorsports. And Smokey Yunick, pretty much every rule in the rule book up to a certain point was because of Smokey Yunick. Harry Gant, I feel like will get in next year. I would have had him in this year. My votes would have been a little bit different. But like I said, all these guys are Hall of Famers, so we're splitting hairs. That's why I said if there was a fourth person into the Hall of Fame, because I'm not trying to take away anybody's Hall of Fame. All the guys that got in deserve to be in. But I would say probably either Smokey Yunick or Harry Hyde, because as time goes by, more and more people are going to forget them. I feel like Harry Gant and Tim Richmond, because they're drivers, they would be easier. They'll be easier to get in. So I'm gonna go with Harry Hyde there. Hopefully he gets in before and Smokey Yunick before time runs out. Carl Edwards, Ricky Rudd, and Ralph Moody of the Hall of Fame class of 2025, says Napa Racing Fan. Carl deserves it. So does Ricky, and so does Moody. It's the Moody of Holman Moody. Sounds like they got this year's right. I did not see any penalties from the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Kyle freaking Busch kerfuffle, says Charlotte. The only penalty is that neither one of them can play with their GI Joes for about a week, and then they have to go to bed at 8 o'clock and stay in their room. That's the only actual punishment they're going to get from NASCAR. And I'm joking, by the way. Great Hall of Fame. It's funny that you have to say that, because sometimes people really take the dumbest stuff I say seriously from time to time. I know Charlotte doesn't, but I'm just saying sometimes people do that are new to the channel. Great Hall of Fame class this year for sure, says Bumblebee. I agree. Hey to BB and all the usual suspect. What's up, Jamie Schweitzer? Mark Barnum saying, hey, B, Jamie and Charlotte. Harry Gant definitely would be my fourth vote, says B. So she's going with Harry Gant. Like I said, I don't think any of those votes are bad votes. Like, I'm surprised Smokey Yunick's not already in. So that's crazy to me. I got a super chat down here. I didn't see that. Let's see here. Speedway Anywhere saying, Recchi seriously needs to take lessons from Chastain. Even my grandma could have dodged that punch. It did take him a while. I will say that. It was he wound back for like a long time to get that one in there. So, yeah, I do agree with you and appreciate the super chat, my friend. Yeah, without a doubt, I do agree with that. And I think I saw another one down here. I'm sure Bumstead saying, after several 600s lives at CMS and the sunburn that goes with it, I watch mine from the couch, says Bumstead. I'll tell you what, nothing, not even political or anything else like that. But if some of you guys remember getting in and out of Daytona, when a official, the level of a former president comes in, it's going to be an absolute nightmare getting in with your ticket. So that pretty much sealed the deal with me. I'm not. I was thinking about going to Charlotte, but with all the camera gear that I tote in there, that is just a nightmare. I already had problems with Martinsville, and nobody really of that level of importance was there. Getting in and out of Martinsville with the camera gear, if you're familiar with what I was talking about on the Discord. So yeah, that sealed the deal for me. I'm definitely not going to Charlotte because yeah, getting that camera gear in and out, that would be a logistical nightmare. So gonna leave it be. We've had so much rain in May. Rocks are soft, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, we've been in a similar situation the past couple of weeks ourselves. Howdy, fellow race fans, says Charlotte. What's up, Charlotte? Hope you're doing good today, my friend. What's up, BB? What's up in between the lanes? Hey, Bumblebee, says Jamie Schweitzer. Dead heat on that poll. Let's get a ninth vote to the side, says Charlotte. I wish they would give me more options on here. I would like to put several more people on there. But I'm still surprised. Like, honestly, I'm still surprised Smokey Yunick's not already in the Hall of Fame. He's in the International Motorsports Hall of Fame. He's in the National Motorsports Hall of Fame, I think. He's definitely in one of those. So I'm surprised he's not in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. That really does shock and surprise me. Of course, my pick at 14%. Everybody else's pick is still in the running. 34% right now for Tim Richmond. Smokey Yunick, 27%. Harry Gant at 27%. So it's interesting. Tim Richmond gaining some steam here. That's interesting. Let's see. That's a hard one between Harry and Smokey. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I feel like all four of them, it's a tough decision. Like, that's my thing about Hall of Fame voting. Like, I never want to talk about, hey, we should take this guy out and put this guy in, because every time I look at the guy you're taking out, I'm like, well, I mean, that guy deserves to be in there too. So if anything, the only real argument you could make is Carl Edwards is way younger than those guys, so maybe he could have waited a year, but he still deserves to be in there. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of argument you could make to take one of those guys out. Carl and Ricky are both more than worthy, and Ralph Moody is a legendary wrench turner, won 5 races as a driver too. That is true. He did win. I didn't know it was 5, but I did know that he was a driver and won some races too. This was a great class, says Bumblebee. I agree with you 100% there. 12K to buy Ford out. Wild boomers. Be like back in my day, you could start a NASCAR operation on a part-time income. Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Where is that? There is like a calculator, I want to say. What year was that he bought them out? We're doing the real research now, my friends. So I'm going to go 1957. That looks roughly right. What are we getting into? Let's see here. Year 1957. How much was 12K back then? You could buy a boat with it. We know that. So we're going to calculate. That would be $130,000 today. So $130,000 today would be the equivalent. So still, like buying everything from a Ford racing operation for $130,000. That is still a really good deal. So if you know how much a race car, just one race car engine costs, that he got bang for the buck there. There's no question about that. So let's see here. Briscoe getting the shaft since he can't speak to other teams like his teammates are, says one wise guy. I tell you what, if I was in Briscoe's situation, I would just do it anyway. What are they going to really do if they sell out? So I would do it anyway. Gant's late model career is being, but yeah, I agree. If that's like the thing holding him back, that's I would just ask for forgiveness, not for permission. Gant's late model career is being totally overlooked. 365 wins and championships in late models, says David Nyhoff. I mean, I don't disagree with you there, but I'll tell you who else's late model career always gets overlooked, and he should be on this list every year if we're talking about that. And that is one, Richard Trickle. I can't say his regular name because it's, for whatever reason, not YouTube friendly. I've got dinged for that a few times, unfortunately. So yeah, he's another one whose late model career gets overlooked. Speedway, what do you expect? Danica taught him how to punch, says Mark Barnum, talking about Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Jack Sprague would have got in, says Joseph Wooten. I guess talking about late model career or trucks or something like that. Not NASCAR related, BB, but I read that Dan Patrick was not happy about ESPN's coverage of the Knicks Pacers series. I haven't seen anything about that, so I have to go check that one out. I haven't paid any attention. I follow the Magic a little bit. I literally recently became a fan. So I follow the Magic a little bit, but yeah, I haven't seen what was up with that. Edwards became a ghost after he retired, rare appearances here and there. Statistically, he deserves it, impact and helping the sport grow, etc., says a Napa Racing fan. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Like I said, all the guys that got in, I can't make any argument as to why they should be out. So I think everybody deservingly got in. BB, did you watch the Ricky Stenhouse podcast with Corey LaJoy? I only saw that one highlight where he basically talks about he did it on purpose. I still don't think that's going to be enough to get him a fine. Maybe you fine him a little bit of money or something. I don't think so. I think the only thing that'll come of that is his dad's hard card will get pulled. But other than that, I think that'll be the actual legitimate extent of it. Say Kyle, leave an F in the chat for Say Kyle. He recently lost a loved one. He had to sell his Camaro. He had to sell his Corvette. My fault. He had to sell his Corvette, so he has had to depart with his Corvette. So leave an F in the chat. He's going through a lot of pain and emotional damage right now. Hey y'all, moment of silence for William Byron's toe link. What are you talking about, say Kyle? He broke that toe link on purpose so that Hendrick could have an R&D day for short tracks. It was clearly on purpose. Andy Petrie after the fight. Was funny watching when Kyle Busch said, I suck just as bad as you, Ricky. And then Andy Petrie was just like he didn't say anything. He didn't know what to say. Like, he obviously didn't like it, but he also didn't want to say anything because Kyle Busch is in a contract year. They want to sign him back. And this year's ballot was tough. No standouts, really, but many deserving candidates. Sam Ward would be in even as an Xfinity regular, says Napa Race fan. Yeah, he's another one on there. There's the merch link and also the Discord link dropped in here by one wise guy. Much appreciated. Didn't Jack Ingram get into the Hall of Fame based on his late model career? Something like that. I want to say Jack Ingram got in there based on his Xfinity career or whatever. Howdy from the Great White North. Ricky Rudd, they all deserve to get in. It's a matter of timing. Smokey for the history factor, says Robin Marks. What's up, Robin Marks? And what's up, Canada? Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Like, that's why I say if you had a fourth vote, who would be your fourth vote? Right now, Timmy Richmond running away with that one. Let's see. The funniest part of the fight was the RFK guy just standing there watching it. And Pockrass also. Yeah, Bob Pockrass's face. That was classic. Shout out to Davey Siegel, man. Davey Siegel got taken down with Kyle Busch. That's a bummer, man. He caught a stray. So Davey Siegel, man. At least you made TV though, but hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he didn't hurt his legs or anything like that. As a Floridian, I had to vote for Smokey. Says say Kyle, man, that sucks that he. I never got to visit the garage, but I did see the garage literally the year it burned down. Like as soon as I left, maybe 2 or 3 months later, the thing burned down. Neil Bonnet should definitely get consideration soon. Yeah, I think he'll get a chance to get in there maybe next year as well. Napa Race Fan. I don't know who those drivers are. Apologies, says Dogfish. Yeah, they're I think the latest in that list of drivers and people I put in there, Harry Gant drove into the 90s. I don't think anybody else. So that will be the latest. So if you were born anywhere around that area, you're definitely probably not privy to that one. I'm a supercars guy, says Dogfish. I'll tell you what, I think you're going to have something to watch next year, because I think next year they're going to bring up old SVG. That's just my guess. I don't know anything in detail, but I'm pretty sure he's going to race Cup next season. Winner of fines getting handed out. Typically, Nicole, they release them on a Tuesday. And since it's already 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, I don't think any are coming out. So I think everybody's going to just sort of go by. Like I said, you wouldn't even hear about Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s dad's hard card getting pulled. So if that happened, I don't think you would hear about that. But the rest of it, I think nobody's going to get fined. That's the only scenario I can see something happening is maybe his dad's hard card, which is just your media pass to get in and out of the track, would get pulled. Rain in Indy is possible on Sunday. It may add more drama for Kyle Larson. Yeah, the weather as of right now not looking great. Hey, BB in chat says Duke Chronic. What's up, Duke Chronic? Napa Racing Fan. If it rains in Indy, hopefully it's pushed to Monday for Larson's sake. I mean, that would probably be a more relaxing thing for him, because he would just be able to focus on one race at a time, or maybe it would be more stressful because he would just have one race to think about all day. I don't know. 130K wouldn't even buy you one whole car, says Charlotte. Yeah, that's a fact. You definitely wouldn't get a full car. Maybe a late model, maybe a fully assembled late model. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Every once in a while on Racing Junk, you can get like an ARCA car for 70 or 80. But then I think you still need a motor. So yeah, I don't think 130K would even get you a full car. I think it definitely wouldn't get you a new one, and all that stuff was new. Like I said, they from what I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, Ford knew what they were doing, and they were basically like, hey, just give us a little bit of money and you can have all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like 130K probably wouldn't even cover the building. You know what I mean? So they got everything. Let's see. 1,000 wins, says Duke Chronic. Talking about Dick Trickle, I think, because he definitely had over 1,000 wins in late model. How do you even see Rain sitting in so low in an Indy car, and that's leading? LOL. Mid pack is impossible. Says Dogfish. I like, especially they got the windscreens now, so you would see it beating up on the windscreen. I like Butterbean, says Duke Chronic. Butterbean's a pretty popular. He's pretty popular truck driver. He's pretty popular in the Cars Tour, late models, and all that good stuff too. Let's see, NASCAR, Earth 2 NASCAR starts each season, starting in 2025 with a Hall of Fame exhibition race with Hall of Famers. They tried that on Earth 1 one time, and everybody, they had a pretty serious wreck, unfortunately. Someone will sign Butterbean. He might go straight to Xfinity. There's a good chance. He's a pretty good driver. Funny story about him. Not even funny story, but the first time I was made aware of him, I was helping Landon Pimbleton during the everything shut down year, and he was driving late model. Landon was driving Virginia Sportsman, and we were popping between Langley, Virginia, and Dominion. And he had his sponsor is a video game company, so he had Mario on the side of his car. So I didn't know who he was. I was like, I'm just going to pull for this dude because he's got Mario on the side of his car, and that was pretty cool. And he ends up winning the track championship, and I want to say it was his first track championship. And he did the old Hendrick burnout. He put the nose on the infield wall and just lit him up when he won the championship. And I was like, that's my kind of dude. So I've never actually met him, but I've been in the same place that he's been racing at, and he seems like he just has a good time all the time. Just seems like a fun dude. He's all about some Waffle House too, which I can't support that. But other than that, seems like a good dude. Say Kyle saying thank you. Lots of F's in the chat here for Say Kyle's Corvette. So rest in peace, Corvette. Hopefully the next owner doesn't wreck it immediately and you see it in the news. Hopefully it doesn't get hit by the light train or whatever it's called down there. The Bright Line in Florida. Everything in Florida getting hit by the Bright Line here. They say Edwards was strong as a bull and could throw people around when he was mad, says Bumstead. I wouldn't doubt that. He's a pretty big fella. Sam Ard has like 400 wins. The Monaco Parade, the Indy 500, the Monaco Parade. Napa Racing fan with the F1 shade. What's up with that, man? The Indy 500, the Coke 600 make up the greatest day in racing, but may not have all 3 Sunday 2 years in a row due to rain. Yeah, that would stink. Hopefully the weather holds out for all of it. Do you really think Kyle will leave RCR at the end of the season? I have no idea, man. Like, your guess is as good as mine. It just depends on what Kyle Busch wants to do. And if there's an offer out there for him that he thinks is better than RCR, so that would be interesting. I'll tell you this much though: if 2311 gets the 8 driver again, Richard Childress might field a 3rd car just to wreck 2311's cars every other race. Like, man, could you imagine how mad Richard Childress would be? Like, he would literally bring back the 07 and just make it all black, just with no Jack Daniels on it or whatever. In my opinion, just to take out 2311's cars, because that would be not good if you're a RCR fan, which I am. So we'll have to see what happens. Andy blocked me on X because I trolled him about the way he called a Daytona 500. LOL, says Mark Barnum. Bob had the Cloverfield race. Cloverfield face. I got you, wise guy. Let's see. Celtics Pacers game is currently on. I think Chase Briscoe to the 21. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. A lot of people are saying that Harrison Burton is out, so that seems to be, in a lot of people's opinion, a foregone conclusion. I haven't seen anything where it says he's out yet, but if he is out, that is a really good car, in my opinion. We have seen Matt DiBenedetto put it into the playoffs. We've seen Ryan Blaney win with it. We've seen Paul Menard get it pretty close to the playoffs. So we know that there's a lot of speed in that car. Unfortunately for Harrison Burton, it hasn't worked out. I think he came up like way too early, to be totally honest with you. So maybe he's got plenty of time too to work his way back up. So going back down to Xfinity wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him. Would it be possible for Kyle Larson to run the triple? I don't think so. I don't think that's logistically possible, Duke Chronic. Maybe if we get the I'm not going to talk about it because that's off topic. Anyway, I think Kevin Conway got snubbed of the Hall of Fame this year. Says OJ and Toothpaste. Well, I mean, on Earth 2, he's still racing. He's still racing with the Smiling Bob Extends number 57 or whatever. What was he? Number 50, number 60, whatever that car was. Next to Dale Earnhardt, Tim was the best racer I've ever seen. He had amazing car control. He was a dirt guy, and his car control was second to none. Him and Earnhardt put on some real shows back in the day. You can pull them up on YouTube and look at them if you want to. Once upon a time, Monaco races were great. Then racing product got worse. Now the winner is basically determined by qualifying. The end, says Napa Racing fan, or short pitting. Every once in a while, somebody will short pit and catch them with their pants down. But that's pretty much it. You got to pass them in the pits, or you got to pass them on qualifying day. Except for Max Verstappen that one year. Max Verstappen was making all kinds of crazy passes. Then they threw a flag on him for track limits. But that was the day that I was like, Max Verstappen, I know a lot of people don't like him, but I was like, that dude, he does not want to finish second. Like, he was doing everything he could to make passes. It was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Like, it was pretty insane. It was the most intense Monaco race I ever watched. But he did get track limits, so they took at least one of his positions away. Harry Gant drove the Smokey Bandit car. He was the Bandit. He was the Bandit driver in NASCAR. The Indy 500 is by far the greatest race in the world. Nothing better. No event gets better, says Napa Racing fan. I'm sure a lot of people feel like that. 100K would get you a rolling chassis, says Duke Chronic. Who is the best NASCAR driver to do the double other than the Kyles? NASCAR driver. Well, I mean, Mario Andretti won the Daytona 500. So, I mean, Mario Andretti depends on how you define NASCAR driver, like a guy that ran a full season. Tony Stewart, Juan Pablo Montoya would have to be in that mix. Gosh, I mean, it's so difficult to pick like guys that have done both. AJ Foyt would have to be in there. Hard to say, but there's a handful of them. I would say either from people that I never saw. I'll take that back. I saw Mario Andretti run in IndyCar when I was a real little kid because I had his little Kmart number 5 Ford Delara, I want to say. It was like a big car that you rolled it back and pushed. Anyway, that nothing to do with anything. So I'm going to say Mario Andretti. I was about to go off on an old man tangent. Anyway, he had 8-bit numbers. Says Duke Chronic. Yeah, he does. He had 8-bit numbers back then too. 03 back then. I think he still runs the 03 for Lee Pulliam. Skull Bandit of Smokey Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit. Sorry, says Jamie Schweitzer. I think Casey Boat would be good in the booth. I don't know. I haven't heard her do anything other than DBC. I saw Joe Gibbs Racing YouTube page and Mavis Brakes and Tires changes their schemes week to week due to the success of James Dennis Allen Hamlin has had with that sponsor each week on its number 11. I'll tell you what, the one that they got coming up this weekend is my favorite because it's just all teal, I think, or whatever that color, spring green, whatever that color green is. KFB 100% bails on RCR if there's a better opportunity. And I don't necessarily disagree with you, Charlotte. I just don't know what that better opportunity would be. That's what I'm waiting to see. Does he think 2311 is a better opportunity? That's going to be hard to say. But if he does see it as a better opportunity, that seems to be what everybody is speculating, at least as far back as Texas, from somebody who I trust that usually has some pretty good inside information. So I think it's going to come down to RCR and 2311 and where Kyle feels he has the best chance to do well at. I don't know what that opportunity would be. 2311 feels too close to JGR, but stranger things have happened. That's a good point too. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he still holds a grudge there and wants to prove that he can win without him. It's going to the front like what a lot of people aren't talking about is if, and this is a big if, but if Front Row gets those 2 charters, they would have 3 charters to play with because Todd Gilliland is the only guy they've got signed. Would Kyle Busch feel like that's a better opportunity over there? Does he go drive for Ford? I think that would be interesting as well. Noah to the 21 calling it now, says one wise guy. People have Noah Gregson going a lot of places. Haley Deegan to the 21 says like dislike. Kevin Conway was a first-year inductee on Earth 2, says Charlotte Ander. Then he immediately unretired and started racing again. I like where you're going with that, Charlotte. Haley Deegan to the 21, rolling on the floor laughing, says Nicole. James Dennis Allen Hamlin is running last year's Mavis brake and tire scheme this week. John Hunter Nemechek is doing the Monaco Indy 500 Coke 600 this year on Earth 2, Duke Chronic, and he's going to go for the triple. He's going to see if he can wreck in all 3 races. Earth 2, Michael Jordan is, why do I have so much fun with him? I hope he does well, for real. I do pull for Legacy because they are associated with Richard Petty. I hope John Hunter does well, but my God, does the man wreck. The dude wreck. He either runs really good or wrecks. He's Ricky Stenhouse 2.0, and he has been in a fight before, so he is legit Ricky Stenhouse 2.0. He got his butt speared by Cole Custer. Michael Jordan is the new booth announcer in the Truck Series back in the day. Michael Jordan is the new booth announcer with Dale Jr. on Earth 2, says Jamie Schweitzer. I like where you guys are going with this. We got Earth 2 popping off early today, and I like it. Daniel Ricciardo won that Monaco race when Max was mad. Says Duke Chronic. That's for sure. That was a Daniel Ricciardo win. For sure. I'd like to see Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt work together. And what's funny about that is I don't remember Daniel Ricciardo winning, just like a lot of people won't remember Joey Logano won the All-Star race. They'll remember the fight. And I remember Max Verstappen going crazy trying to get all those spots. Evening, y'all. Guess how old Jimmy Johnson is? No clue. Maybe 48. I'm going with 48, Douglas Serrano. OJ and Toothpaste, LOL, says Dick Chronic. Kurt Busch is the best NASCAR driver to do the double. AJ, Mario, Smoke, and just about everyone else to do it came from the Indy side of NASCAR. Okay, yeah, so if you're going, I guess that's a fair point. If you're going with somebody who started with NASCAR first, Kurt Busch would probably be the best for sure. I don't know, though, because Kyle Larson's career is not over. So excluding Larson, because I don't like to compare somebody whose career is ongoing. I would say Kurt Busch for sure. And I can't think of a whole lot of other ones. Maybe Jimmy Johnson. Oh, I don't know, man. I feel like Kurt Busch had the better finish, but I feel like Jimmy Johnson had the better Cup career. But you're splitting hairs. I mean, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I don't know. I wonder if Boris comes out of retirement again for this season. Sonoma is coming up. I'll tell you what, if Boris comes out of retirement, I will find me a said head wig, and we will we'll rock it for the pre-race if Boris comes out of retirement. Did Ricky Stenhouse did he find it today? Says William Wagaman. Did he get fined today? No. He, as far as I know, he hasn't been fined. As I started this, he hadn't been fined yet, so I think he's good to go on that. Who is the best current NASCAR driver to do the double other than Kyle's in the future? Like I said, it's got to be a toss-up between Kurt Busch. If you're going with somebody who started in NASCAR first, it's got to be a toss-up between Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson. KFB to the 48 says, I like this. Like everybody's always trying to get rid of Alex Bowman. I think he signed a contract and it's multi-year, so I think he's still under contract. William Wagman, so far, no action, no fines. Boris is running Sonoma for Hendrick. Singing, oh, yeah, maybe in the Xfinity Series. You might, or the trucks. I can't remember which one. I think you're right about that. I forgot about that. Singing Home in Indiana is just not the same, not being sung by Jim Neighbors. Rest in peace, Jim, says Mark Barnum. That'd be Gomer Pyle for those of y'all, or Lugs Harvey, if you remember Stroker Ace. Since they got him DQ'd last year, says Cody Ledger, Monaco has a cool scenery, if nothing else, race-wise. Yeah, I mean, Monaco is just a scene. Monaco is like a music festival, except for race cars. RC would be taking his watch off again and trashing Brett Breskin's napkin contract. Just on an interview on Twitter, Richard Childress said he's going to whip Ricky Stenhouse's butt personally if he touches the 8 car at Charlotte, says Bumblebee. Hey, there you go. He won't be holding Ricky's watch, left somebody holding his. Yeah, they were too worried about their Hall of Fame nominees, says William Wagaman. Super HBD William. Supersonic says Wise Guy. Supersonic Jet Monaco Indy 500. Do the Supersonic Concords even run anymore? I think they parked the Supersonic Concords. French Air did. BB, I think I asked you this before, but who do you think wins the greatest spectacle in all of racing? Oh man, I don't know, man. Alex Palou. I feel like eventually he gets it done. So why not pick him this year? Or is he going to be like Dale Earnhardt? He does everything but win for like 20 or 30 years. I don't know. But that's going to be my pick. But I hope Kyle Larson does the impossible and wins it. Thank you. One Wise Guy says William Wagaman. I hope Ricky touches the 8 then. Says One Wise Guy. So yeah, we'll get back to back fisticuffs if that happens. Jimmy is the age of his old car number. LOL says Douglas Serrano. So he's 84. Jimmy Johnson is 84. Skip Bayless in the booth. Skip Bayless in the booth for the Indy 500. I heard. Hey, there you go. Skip Bayless still doing his thing. Apparently, I don't watch any mainstream media, and Skip Bayless and Screaming A. Smith are two of the biggest reasons for that. That and they just take a topic and they just repeat it over and over again for weeks and weeks until they go on to the next topic. They just wear topics out. So that's one of the big reasons I stopped watching mainstream sports. And that's one of the big reasons Pat McAfee is the man right now doing his thing over there. Earth 2, OJ. Michael Andretti did the double 2, says Jamie Schweitzer. Didn't see the whole episode, but apparently Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Was on Stacking Pennies. Yeah, and he basically said he did it. He knew what he was going to do before he walked over there. That was the big clip that everybody's taking away from it. I don't know where Robbie Gordon's career started, but it needs to be in the best driver to do doubles conversation. That's a good talking point, Charlotte. I know for a fact he did race Indy cars before he raced NASCAR, so I know he was over in Indy cars before NASCAR, but I don't know where his career actually started. I think it might have started over there in like the Baja trophy trucks and stuff like that. Mike Harmon is doing the double, says Sean Lofton. Yeah, and he's probably going to win it again this year. All jokes aside, he's got a distillery as a sponsor on the number 47. So Mike Harmon found him some sponsorship, and they've got a good sponsor too. They've got a spirited sponsor. I put my money on Richard Childress. Says Art NASCAR Concords are grounded after one blew up an engine, says Charlotte. So there you go. Thanks for confirming that. Jimmy is 48. Imagine how funny it would be if he was still driving his old car number that matches his current age. Well, he tried, but Hendrick didn't want to come off of it. NASCAR will never let Smokey Yunick in the Hall of Fame. Smokey deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I agree. He 100% needs to be in the Hall of Fame. An F-22 Raptor with in-flight refueling is possible for Kyle, says Duke Chronic. That would be pretty cool. That would be probably the plane. If he got to ride in an F-22, that would probably be the most fun part of the day. Newgarden wins Indy. I put money on Ricky's dad. I don't know. Ricky's dad was having some trouble against Kyle Busch, so I don't know. Poll, does Trump stay the whole race? I don't know. Probably not. I'm not going to throw that up there because people just either they feel one way or other about him, and I'm not getting into that today. 100% correct, says William Wagaman. A name I miss hearing is NASCAR is Glenn Jarrett on pit road. He was a good pit road reporter. Brickyard 400 returns in July, says Napa Racing Fan. So yeah, I think a lot of people will be stoked about that until the actual race starts and they realize why the Brickyard went to a road course, because it's just going to get stretched out. But who knows, with this new car, this new package, maybe that won't be the case. Ricky has a chance in MMA. Maybe on Earth too, Sean Lofton. I don't know. I'd rather watch Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and James Dennis Allen Hamlin over Stephen A. Smith any day of the week. I watch Pat McAfee as well. Says in between the lanes. Yeah. So basically, the realism of the podcast format seems to be more popular than basically the overproduced fake opinion TV shows that ended up what cable became. Now, I think an actual cable show like back in the day, like Sports Center or something like that, if they just went back to the old form of Sports Center, where you just show the highlights, you talk about the stats of the game, and you boom, 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 moving on to the next one, I think that could still be popular. I don't know why they don't try to push that. The problem with Sports Center now is it's way too long, and they draw it out, and they get into all this other stuff. I think if they just did like boom, 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 like they used to have ESPN News, and ESPN News was like 30-minute blocks. Well, I think if you went to 15 or 20-minute blocks of non-commercial and ran it, and then after 20 minutes, you can run your commercial, then you do another 20-minute block, I think that would be the future over there for that company. But who am I? Would you like to see all-star qualifying style for all races? I'd like to see heat races for sure. I've talked about that often. I think dirt has a huge advantage there. So, yeah, I think heat races for sure. I suck just as bad as you do. Isn't a good look for KFB and RCR. I mean, yeah, it's not, but he was just pissed off, and he was trying to say something smart, and it was smart. It was funny, but the RCR team is not going to like him saying that. That's a fact. Would you like to see an all-star? I just read that one. Sad, kind of sad. SHR is going away possibly. They were very good, powerhouse team, even in 2018 and 2019. Says OJ. Yeah, for sure. They were one of the better teams to ever do it, but if their heart's not in it, the best thing for them to do is to get out of it, because it's an all-consuming sport. Do you think practice will ever come back? I hope so. I don't know. It's already back kind of, but I don't know if it'll ever come back like it was. Keep the red tires around, says William Wagaman. Yeah, and make them softer. They need to go further with the softness on them. We all know he won't stay. He never does. I don't want him to come simply because of the outcome of the races he has attended. 100% casualty rate, says Charlotte. Yes, it should, says Lofton. BB, which Cup drivers would be good for tag teams? I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like Noah Gragson would have to be in there somewhere. Like, I feel like there's a 4 horseman element already to the SHR group. So I feel like they would probably be like a really good tag team. I could see them as like the 4 horsemen. Hendrick, like they would have to be like, I don't know. Like if you're a Hendrick fan, you really like them. If you're not a Hendrick fan, you really hate them. So I feel like they would have to be sort of like the NWO Wolfpack faction, like when the NWO broke up into the Wolfpack. So they would be the red and the black. They'd be the Wolfpack. Who would JGR be? JGR would be like the corporation, like Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon. I could see them being like the corporation. And other than that, I don't know. I don't know. Ricky Stenhouse would be like since he's like a solo deal, he would be like the guy. He would be like a Rob Van Dam type of guy where he's Mr. Saturday Night. Like he's just all action. He's either gonna do the high risk maneuver. He's either gonna win the match or like break his back. So that would be I feel like that would be like Ricky Stenhouse. I don't know. I need to think about that one day. Tony is done with NASCAR, says William Wagaman. Don't lie, you guys watch Indy just to see Danica, says Mark Barnum. Robbie Gordon. I did double 3 straight years and never did impress. I didn't finish very good in both races. Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, says Sean Lofton, talking about the tag team deal. Got to go to work, BB, says Jamie Schweitzer. Well, have fun at work. Hope it doesn't suck too bad. I used to watch First Take when Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless was on there. I mean, it was decent at first. Like everybody was trying to recreate Pardon the Interruption, and then it just became like comically just like caricatures of your actual self. It wasn't Pardon the Interruption was what they were trying to recreate. And then they realized if they just scream at each other for no logical reason over things that they don't really care about, that it got more views and it just dumbed down. It got popular and it dumbed down all of sports talk. Jimmy is 48. Imagine how funny it would be if he was still driving his old car number that matches his current age. Yep, he tried to get that number, and Hendrick was not letting go of it. Danica Patrick needs to go to a demo derby. That is the only thing she can broadcast. So is the 400 on a rotation now, since people cried about the road course. I don't know. It might go to a rotation because I have a feeling those same people are going to cry about the Brickyard. But we'll wait and see. Hopefully they prove me wrong. I saw on Pat McAfee yesterday the whole Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Kyle Rowdy Busch fight. Point standings, says one wise guy, same as they were before the All-Star race. Kyle Larson is leading, Martin Truex Jr. second, and Denny Hamlin is third, 9 points behind Martin Truex Jr., 30-something points overall behind Kyle Larson, I want to say. I could be wrong on the numbers, but I think I got the top three right. Indy 500 qualifying didn't have many commercials. The All-Star race had a commercial for around 10 minutes for just a 200-lap race. Jake McVeigh, I don't like that Charlotte's tickets are mobile now, no actual ticket. Yeah, so yeah, that's all the NASCAR tracks are, what is it? All the SMI tracks are going to that. So yeah, that's a bummer. That's kind of crappy because a lot of people save their tickets. So that's going to be a bummer for sure. SHR going to Ford helped in the short term, not so much in the long term. OJ and Toothpaste, if we were talking about the results of double attempts, do you have a point? But we're talking about the best to do it. Robbie Gordon is highly underrated in that aspect. Yeah, Robbie Gordon doesn't get a lot of respect, period. Partially because of his aggressive personality. Get a lot of respect for the type of really good race car driver he was. I do agree with that. The last time I watched First Take was when Michael Kay was on there for 15 minutes. Case in point, when Tony Stewart was on the Dale Jr. download, you can look up the episode. Tony Stewart is talking about, Dale Jr. asks who's the guy, or Tony Stewart's talking about guys you can put in a car and they just have so much natural raw ability that they can get you 90% of the way there. And Dale Jr. asked him to name a few, and he names Robbie Gordon. And you can watch Dale Jr. laugh in his face about that. And Tony Stewart was being dead serious. And that's what I'm saying. Robbie Gordon's personality overshadows how much actual talent he had, because he just, when he wasn't able to be in a winning type car, he did all this crazy stuff. So it's just one of those things. His personality kind of overshadows how good of a race car driver he was. Last time I watched First Take was when Michael Kay was on there for 15 minutes. And the sports pope, Mike Francesa, was on with Christopher Mad Dog Russo. I know Mad Dog does Wednesdays. Yeah, I'm surprised Mad Dog is still doing his thing. That was Mike and Mad Dog. That was like the biggest show. That was the biggest sports radio show in the world back in the day. Do you think they'll give us Homestead back for the championship? I don't know. I really wish they would put it on a rotation. The final race of the season. Remember when the TV cable snapped during the Coke 600 and the 18 ran over it? And a couple other, I don't really remember that one. I thought I'm thinking of like the TV camera fell down, and maybe they ran over the cable. But I remember like the actual TV crane it fell down. I can't remember if it was a football game or a race, but I do remember that happening. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is Beavis and Kyle Busch is Butthead, says Joe Sample. It did kind of look like a Beavis and Butthead fight. I'll give you that one, Joe. Coke 600 should be 3 stages, not 4. Third stage should just be really long, says Like Dislike. Yeah, I don't know. They, I think you should take all the stages and throw them in the trash can. At least the stage breaks. So that's my personal thoughts on them. I still predict the legend of Mayette of New Jersey, Martin Truex Jr. will win the Coca-Cola 600. So he will dominate his home track race. Is Robbie Gordon still doing the trophy trucks thing? I think they shut that operation down. He's working with like Can-Am type cars now. I think Tony is fed up with NASCAR and fed up with Ford, especially when he could not hire Kyle Larson. That probably played a lot into it, Art. Dale Jr. says Wilkesboro was near perfect, says Napa Racing Fan. Different comp. So now Wilkesboro got the thumbs up from Dale Jr. Different compounds, like probably should make them with black walls so they don't talk about the color of the tire so much and just race, says Aaron Flynn. I still remember the Robbie Gordon getting wrecked by Michael Waltrip and walking around the middle of the track and hitting the 15 car with his helmet at New Hampshire. Yeah, case in point. Dale Jr. says an ally. Dale Jr. says an ally is perfect. Thoughts on WGI in the playoffs? Says Andrew Wright. I think you need a road course. Watkins Glen is as good as any of them. Watkins Glen has a huge turnout. Like it's a cult track. So I think that's a good pick for a road course in the playoffs for sure. Does Wilkesboro's resurrection help Rockingham's case to return? Rock's owner says they're preparing to be NASCAR ready by the end of this year, says Napa Racing Fan. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think they'll probably get like a truck race and an Xfinity Series race. I have no idea if they actually get a Cup Series race, but they put a lot of money into it. And I know a lot of fans want it to happen. So hopefully they get something for all the money they put into it. Hey, Didi, did you see the video of Fontana on how it looks. Just like the middle of the front stretch is left, just to press into white, says Escobar. Yeah. Hopefully they do something with it one way or the other, either tear it all the way down or finish building, whatever they're going to build over there. Because that's if it's going to be a short track like they claim, that's a really long straightaway for a short track. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how they, I don't know, how they would configure that into a short track. Rockingham had it shot. Y'all have a good one, says one wise guy. Thanks for hanging out with us, wise guy. Rockingham had it shot. People showed up one year, and I know it was for trucks, but nobody got behind it for long term. Michael McDowell will be sponsored by the Chicago White Sox and Skill Tools. Skill Tools, also out of Chicago. NASCAR returns to Chicago Street Course in July. 2 Mile Fontana was just great. Was just fine. Great for Gen 7 cars. I hope Race Hub goes out with a bang. Sure going to miss it, says Aaron Flynn. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to miss Race Hub. Is way out yet, but Indy weather was good. Charlotte has rain in the evening. Who will be in the 91 for Chicago? I don't know. I would imagine if they put anybody in it, it's going to be SVG. Let's see. But on the other hand, Iowa had great support, and they pulled truck and Xfinity races anyway. Yeah, I mean, Iowa's got their race, so Iowa's back on the schedule anyway. So I don't think they're going to lose theirs. Yeah, I have no idea who's in the 91. I typically just look at the race directly in front of me. And after that, I just go to the next race directly in front of me. I don't look super far ahead as far as the schedule goes. I would like to see another race in Hickory, says Shadow Ears. Yeah, I mean, South Boston, Hickory, they ran Busch Series races back in the day, Orange County. So maybe they get some truck races or something like that. BB, is it true you're making an appearance on Inside the NBA? I don't know. I'll have to talk to Ahmad Rashad and who was the lady that helped him. I'll have to talk to them and see if they can have me on there. So we'll see. Looks like we've reached the end of it. Tim Richmond at 38% wins the poll. Smokey Unick at 29% is second. Harry Gant, third at 21% and 12%. Harry Hyde getting no love today, but that's all good. They all should be in the Hall of Fame. All right, we've reached the end of this one. I'll catch you guys on the pre-race on Sunday. So get ready for the Coke 600. Get ready for the Indy 500 and get ready for Monaco. Until then, peace.